and mediated rest. The image on the screen is one of the many images that have been collected by artist John Raffman while exploring Google Street View. Raffman collected all these images into a Tumblr account and has also created a book and a series of exhibitions. The 9 lines of the title refers to the number of cameras on the pole attached to the top of a Google Street View car back in 2008. Since then, the Google Street View car cameras have had their own journey, going from 9 to 15 and to most recently 2 cameras. So the post-internet period can be understood as a period from the early 2000s and the Web 2 era, and just before the pandemic, the metaverse and NFTs. Post-internet as a term refers to the critical shift from discussing the internet as a contained entity governing our digital interactions to saying something more about its ubiquitous presence and the reconfiguration of all culture by the internet. The concept of a condition that I have used for my PhD research work aims to create an understanding of exploring the historical present and to provide a framework for exploring its elements, which I have used as dimensions. The main point of mediation in the post-internet condition has to do with viewing the mediated experience on the same level as primary experience. So during the post-internet period, we move away from the contestations and frictions of reproducing the physical through the digital and into viewing mediation as a hybrid process of understanding and articulating our being in and becoming with the technological work. Kemper and Zelinska describe this as recognizing allocatedness within media as being always already mediated. This shift from ideas of connected media and media life that examine a metaphysical living condition as a result of the connectivity of the object to the world via the medium, to a living condition that both exists within and drives the mediatization processes, is a key element of how mediation in the post-internet condition could be approached and understood. So I'm going to move away from that slide. I was going to talk a little bit about early internet art, net art to post-internet art, but for time purpose, I'm going to move to the next slide. So regarding mediated publicness, the social cultural practices of mediated publicness are dependent on the appropriation of network media tools, information and communication technologies, and web content. Smartphones, cameras, editing applications, and software are what people use to take photos and videos to document their lives or to simply create content for social media. Social media are where people can post their content, engage with the public, consume content, and participate in online social interactions. Platforms for social news aggregation and discussions and chat software like Reddit, Discord, and Twitch are where people can engage with specialized topics and form niche yet global communities. Countless sites dedicated to online news and content aggregation like Dig, Pocket, and Fark are where curation of the massive everyday social activity online, along with community engagement and participation based on interests and topics, takes place. All of the above and much more enable activity by mediated connection to take place as part of a new form of mediated publicness. The Red Lines artwork that you see on the screen by Evan Roth is a peer-to-peer network performance. The Red Lines network connected users with servers in geographically specific locations to participate in the sharing and viewing of 82 individual pieces from the artist's landscape video series. Over the course of 2 years, between 2018 and 2020, 120,000 people in 166 countries connected to the Red Lines network. The artist has traveled to coastal sites around the world where internet cables emerge from the sea to record the work's videos. By setting in the artist's words, by setting a device in your home or workplace to display this artwork, you share a synchronized viewing experience with people around the world. When you view a network-located video made in Hong Kong, for example, it activates the submarine cable route between Hong Kong and you. You then become part of the peer-to-peer network, which enables this work to be experienced by people around you. So regarding mediated self, earlier technological mediated representations of the self, like mirrors, photographs, and videos, have allowed for new understandings of how the self can be seen by ourselves or others in different representational mediums in different times and spaces. The number of interactions that ourselves can have online, along with the abundance of space-times within which ourselves exist online, and the ability to willingly or unwillingly control, archive, trace, manipulate, curate, and exploit the image and activities of said selves, is what allows the post-internet mediation of the self to operate within a previously impossible level of mediation. The extent of the mediation of the self post-internet is constantly expanding, and within it expand implications relating to privacy, freedom, and control. The self as data, the self as avatar, the self as image are all extensions of the self, contributing to new ways of seeing the self. What you see on your screen is James Brittle's 2015 artwork, Citizen X, which examines the concept of algorithmic citizenship. The concept of algorithmic citizenship is based on the work of John Cheney Leipold, which was first outlined in a 2011 journal paper, A New Algorithmic Identity, and which discusses the capacity of computer algorithms to infer categories of identity upon users based largely on their web surfing activities. Brittle's algorithmic citizenship is described as a new form of citizenship which is not assigned at birth or through complex legal documents, but through data. In the artist's words, by downloading a browser extension, you can see where on the web you really are and what that means. As one moves around the web, the Citizen X extension looks up the location of every website visit. Then, by clicking the Citizen X icon on the browser's menu bar, one can see a map showing where the website is. And one can also see their algorithmic citizenship and how it changes over time with the websites they use. Here you can see Heath Bunting's ongoing artwork, The Status Project, which exposes how easily and comprehensively our movements and activities may be tracked when we provide personal information such as our name, email, postal address, or credit card details for even the simplest of internet transactions. The Status Project surveys a class system of human being management that produces maps of influence, flowcharts of integrated logic, and personal portraits for both comprehension and mobility. The class system has three layers: human being, natural person, which is an objectified human being, an artificial person, which is generally objectified collectives of natural persons. Human beings can possess one or more natural persons and control one or more artificial persons, and they are categorized in three different classes. Lower class human beings possess one severely reduced natural person or do not control any artificial persons. Middle class, where human beings possess one natural person and perhaps control one artificial person. And upper class, where human beings possess multiple natural persons and control numerous artificial persons with skillful separation and interplay. In the artist's words, some people have used the Status Project as a way to gain access to services. Others use it to talk about identity issues, and hackers see it as a source code to the system. Regarding mediated trust. Trust in persons, institutions, and systems is to a considerable extent the outcome of mediated processes. Specifically, communication of information, which is inherently a mediated process, is a determinate factor to how trust is built and developed. As the internet has increasingly become the main space for communication, circulation, and retrieval of information, a trust intermediary, it has also presented important new developments of how trust is being determined and affected by the heterogeneity of online and digital media. Information is embedded in a flurry of heuristic cues such as likes, shares, and comments, which may influence how trust indicators are taken up. At the same time, the platforms where information is being communicated and circulated are themselves objects that people can trust or distrust. Here you see Benjamin Grosser's 2018 artwork, Safe Book, which is a browser extension that makes Facebook safe. The artist asks, given the harms that Facebook has brought on mental health, privacy, and democracy, what would it take to make Facebook safe? Is it possible to diffuse Facebook's amplification of anxiety, division, and disinformation while still allowing users to post a status, leave a comment, or confirm a friend? With SafeBook, the answer is yes. The SafeBook browser extension is Facebook without content, where all images, text, video, and audio on the site are hidden. What is left behind are the empty boxes, columns, pop-ups, and drop-downs that allow the like and react features. The user can still post, scroll through an empty newsfeed, and do everything that they would normally do on Facebook. Grosser asks, with the content hidden, can you still find your way around Facebook? If so, what does this reveal about just how ingrained the site's interface has become? And finally, is complete removal of all content the only way a social media network can be safe? Maybe the only way to keep Facebook from harming us is to hide everything. Grosser has been developing several tools that allow social media users to experiment on them and learn more about how social media experiment on their users. Twitter Demetricator is another browser extension by Grosser that hides all metrics on Twitter, like followers, likes, and retweets. So this was the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Is there anything at Lancaster University that has led you to develop that particular presentation? I'd just be interested sort of how you decided to concentrate on that subject.
So my PhD was funded by EPSRC, and it was supposed to be an interdisciplinary PhD. It was part of a doctoral training center program called Highwire, which brought together disciplines like art, design, computing, and management. So my PhD actually belongs to the School of Computing at Lancaster University. I was always interested in digital art and what it says about society and how it critically examines the contemporary. So I wanted to look into that. And as I was reading more about the post-internet, it became more apparent to me that it could describe the current condition, the condition between Web 2 and before the pandemic. And NFTs and the metaverse. Yeah. So in terms of the idea of using post-internet artworks, I wanted to use this rhizomatic methodology of bringing together discourse and on those topics and connect it to the artworks to make a point, to show how it's being examined and how people critically engage with these issues.
Thank you. I asked the question because I don't think we've had very many presentations or contributions from Lancaster before, and yours was a particularly good one. Are there any questions from the audience at British Computer Society? Because that's where we all are, by the way. Okay, thank you very much for that presentation. My next question is Raffaella Filgieri online at the moment. Right. Thing is, we did have a message, by the way, Jonathan, that she is around somewhere, but she's not in the building, and she wants to present online. But when she appears, we will do that. Okay. Is it now possible to go on to Alexandra Orlova and Avira Zagan-Linik?
Yeah. Hello, can you see us and hear us?
Excellent, thank you very much. Your subject is post